Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for some Monday Night NASCAR, and today on the channel we have another NASCAR 08 Cup Series race for you, the Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway for our 5th race out of 36 on this season mode playthrough. Racing as Casey Kane, coming in off of a couple wins already in the early going of the season. As of the last race, though, at Atlanta, we actually had Clint Boyer getting his first career win. Our picker let us down late in the race. We're running in second, right behind Boyer after what would have been third place if Jimmy Johnson hadn't blown an engine right before the final stop in the last 40 laps of the race. But picker just had a slow stop, 21.5 seconds. And that was enough to drop us so far back in the field that by the time we were able to scratch and claw our way back into the top 10, the race was over. We didn't catch a caution those last 40-something odd laps of the race when we did fall behind. But we did keep the top 10 streak alive. 4 for 4 and getting at least a top 10 finish to start the season. Our 2 wins are at Las Vegas and at Daytona in the 500. And then we had a 6th and a 10th place finish with California and Atlanta. So very hit or miss as far as race winning speed goes. We didn't have the fastest car at Atlanta, but we ran top 4 for most of the race. Didn't get the finish we probably deserved. Where will we finish here today at Bristol? It's the first race with the car of tomorrow on this game, so I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. We did race at Bristol in the Busch Series last week on the channel, a 300-lap race at this track. This one's going to be the full 500 laps. So let's get into it without further ado. Setup-wise, didn't practice, didn't qualify, so I'm really hoping that the setup is going to be good to go. Oh, hang on. Why is... The gas was not working for me there. I had to pause it for a quick second. How do we change settings, driving control? Oh, that's weird. I think we're good now. I'm curious as to why that changed. There we go. I didn't have throttle input. Now I do. And we're racing at Bristol for good this time. Apologize for having to pause it there, getting up to speed. Very beginning. Jeff, you're 7. Thanks for tuning in. Wade and Ryan Berwick, welcome to the stream. Also, Jimmy Johnson leading in the early laps of this race. This car feels very tight, by the way. Very tight. Similar setup to what I had in the Busch race here, but obviously those cars would be the Gen 4. This being the car tomorrow, so it seems like a pretty big difference between the two. Having to use way more brake. Especially in the middle of the corner. Flaherty back with the Tigers. Awesome. I did not see that news this morning. That's cool. Hopefully he has as good of a season as he did last year. Kane looking to attack on the first driver for himself in the race as he looks to pass the 26 of Jamie McMurray, trying to give himself some extra room down on the apron of the track. Have to take it very slow down there to keep good car control. Little contact getting into the corner now with the 84 of A.J. Allmendinger. Definitely not working our way through the field as quickly as we did in the Busch race, but finally starting to make some passes. Contact 3 wide. 41. I'm just creeping down on the apron. It's working. I have to keep car control. I'm really just trying to give myself more room so I'm not making contact in the middle of the corner with anybody. That's the only reason I'm going down that far. We've been 3 wide a couple times. Really don't want to risk not only myself wrecking, but potentially having somebody else get wrecked because of me. Harvick with a bump and run on the 6 of David Reagan. Slowed them both down, and here comes Casey Kane again, 3 wide to the inside, and slight wiggle there, and that was because I did try to push it a little harder while those left side tires were down on the black asphalt portion of the pavement below the concrete and the traditional racing line. Another reason to really have to go super slow and feather the throttle down there. .824 in the first couple laps when we kind of fell off of the back of the field for those first couple laps when we got through the start. So bump and run on Kurt Busch. What am I a fan of? What team? If you're talking baseball, like Wade was, it'd be the Detroit Tigers. So probably why he wanted to tell me that news as a fellow Tigers fan. What did I think about the race last night? I liked the scenery of it. I mean, the race basically was how I expected to be coming in. I'm surprised Ryan Blaney was able to move through the field as well as he did. Way better than any other driver. By the time he got to the front, tires were definitely gone. Chase Elliott was able to win and manage his tires better, get through lap traffic better. Ultimately, started on the pole, won the race, and I was calling it for almost a month that I was predicting the pole sitter to win, at the very least somebody who started on the front row to win. But I changed my pick going into the race because there was more passing through the Clash, but little did I know that was because there was a lot more beating and banging and less clean racing in the Clash LCQ versus what there was in the main event. So if I just would have stuck with my gut on the prediction, I would have taken Chase Elliott, because I said I was going to take the pole sitter for like a month. And then night of, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take Denny Hamlin. He starts third. And there was more passing than I expected. Go figure, Chase Elliott ends up winning anyway. I think me not watching the heat races live could have factored into that as well. Maybe if I had saw that Elliott was pretty strong in his heat, maybe I would have still taken him. Obviously, Hamlin won his heat too. But I was only able to look at that stuff on paper. I never got a chance to watch the highlights or obviously even watch it live. Needless to say, I'm 0 for 1 this year, but at least Hamlin finished third, so it wasn't like it was an embarrassing pick, but still like to get the race winner, especially when I went against my own word. I didn't even take my own advice for my prediction. Speeds are starting to pick up a little bit more now that we're towards the front of the pack. Up to 8th place. Got Michael Waltrip in the 55 right in front of us for MWR, and I believe Dale Jr. in front of him in the 8 for DEI. It's always strange seeing that number 8 car in a car tomorrow from 2007, specifically with Dale Jr. behind the wheel, because when I think of car tomorrow and Dale Jr., you think of Hendrick Motorsports. You don't think of DEI, but obviously several races throughout the season are going to be ran with this car up tomorrow, and that is where he is running for the season, organization-wise. It was just good to see cars back on the track again. And honestly, I thought the Clash at Bowman Gray worked, personally. And I think it would work even better if we had a better car suited for short track racing. It's probably about as good as the next-gen car will get for a short track race. And it wasn't bad. I just don't like the idea that you have to slam somebody to move them out of the way. A traditional bump and run doesn't work with these cars. They're just so stiff and so glued to the racetrack. Too much mechanical grip. They're heavier, so that probably doesn't help either. I believe Jimmy Johnson has led all 29 laps so far from the pole. Casey Kane's going to try to get by Dale Jarrett for 5th. And did just that through turns 1 and 2. Next car ahead is David Gillen in the 38, followed by our teammate Scott Riggs, and now Newman's going for the lead. Johnson led that lap at the line, but here comes Ryan Newman. Fastest lap of the race for Casey Kane that last time, a 14.578. We got down into the 14.1s at Bristol earlier, well, I should say last week. I was about to say earlier in the season, but last week in the Busch race. Gillen gets by Johnson as well before Jimmy's able to get back down to the bottom right in front of Casey Kane. Kane gets by his teammate Scott Riggs for 4th. Ryan Newman leads for the first time, and now Casey's under Johnson for 3rd. If it's going to be like it was for ourselves in the Busch race here at Bristol, Martin Truex Jr., we won that race in dominating fashion, leading the most laps, and Casey Kane here in the Cup might do the same thing. Gillen for the lead first. Casey Kane 3 wide, not wasting any time. Gillen leads that lap at the line. Contact with the 38 as he drives off. Both of them clear Newman on the high side as Ryan Newman falls back to 3rd. It's a risky move there by Kane. Got one spot, but couldn't get them both. Gillen leads a 2nd lap. Big dive to the bottom of the track for Kane. Stays underneath Gillen and clear off turn 2. Casey to the lead. Overdrove the entry to get into turn 3. Holds on to it just enough to lead his first lap. So that is 5 bonus points now. Oh, big hit into the wall. It got back into the gas too soon. Keep forgetting that this car is just tighter than what I had in the Busch race here. Still make a decent lap time, though, when I can actually put together clean laps. 14.462. So weird. I drive it in too deep on corner entry, and it slides. Can't just stand on the gas the way I want to. Really back it down. Don't want to abuse the rear tires. Front tires, don't want to abuse any tires this early in the run. We went about 150 laps in the Busch race, so I'd imagine we could do about the same in the Cup. Although with this being the first race of the car tomorrow, we'll just have to wait and find out just to be sure. We get to the first pit stop. But usually they are about the same for the racetracks we've ran at through both series so far on our season mode playthroughs. John Fleming, thanks for tuning in. Haven't been here since the 24. I'm assuming you're talking about the Rolex 24, but yeah, appreciate it. Enjoyed the live stream. Did an awesome job. Hopefully going to be here for everything this year. Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. A lot more content to come, obviously. I mean, obviously, unless something random comes up, I don't plan on missing another day for streaming from now through the Daytona 500. So there's that for you on the scheduling side of things. My goal at the start of 2025 was to stream at least 300 days this year. So that means that we would have 65 days off. I've had 10 days off so far through just over a month. But that was because I was sick for a full week and I missed a full week at once. So other than that one full week, the other 3 days I missed, I knew I was going to miss. So we're definitely not going to miss a stream between now and the Daytona 500. NASCAR 08, for, if you count tonight, it would be 8 consecutive days. Well, technically 9 through next month. Yeah, so 9 consecutive days of NASCAR 08. And then Daytona 500 qualifying on that Wednesday night before the 500, which would be February 11th. And it'll be live commentary streams every day from the 11th through the 16th. And the 16th being the Daytona 500. Obviously, if that gets pushed back to Monday, then, you know, we'll do it on Monday, whatever weather permitting, obviously, for Speed Weeks. But we'll have all the action for Speed Weeks on the channel. Now, I will not be able to do commentary of the practice session before qualifying. They're supposed to have a 50-minute practice session or a happy hour. And that is because I will be at work when that is taking place. I do believe I will be at work at least, so I might be off before it starts, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get here and start the stream on time. Usually the practice sessions, if they took place on a Friday or Saturday, I'd have plenty of time for, but obviously that's going to be the outlier there because they just so happen to have qualifying on a Wednesday for the Daytona 500 like they have the last couple of years. Though the last couple of years they haven't had a happy hour session or anything like that before qualifying, but this year I believe they're supposed to. A 1.1 second lead. It's so hard for me to hold a steady line with these cars. I feel like I'm just way more stable on the short tracks running the Gen 4 than the Gen 5. That's what I've experienced so far, at least. Really have to slow down entering the corner quite a bit. I'm getting better at gassing it up through the center of the corner more. Just ran my fastest lap of the race that last time, 14.414. So we did pick up a little. Kane has won every other race this year. Race number 1, race number 3, so the odd numbers. This is race 5. Let's go for the win again. 6 straight wins for the Wings. Yeah, buddy. Last 2 of them coming in overtime or shootout, too. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it a 7-game point streak, too? Their last loss was the Philly game, I believe, and they lost in overtime. West Coast Canada sweep. Doing ARCA? Yeah, I will be doing the ARCA race on 500 week or Speed Week. That will be the only ARCA live commentary stream this year. I did Dega last year also, but I do plan on going to the Dega spring race in April. I missed it last year, so we did the commentary for the ARCA that weekend, but usually I'm there. So we'll be the only ARCA race stream of the year. That would be the only doubleheader during Speed Week as far as scheduling goes, would be the Xfinity race and ARCA race back-to-back. Sometimes it gets a little loose on corner entry on me, but it's very inconsistent on when it does that. Surprised we have not hit lap traffic yet in this race either. We're 64 laps in. Haven't caught anybody. Still that 14.414 is our fastest lap of the race. Haven't quite hit halfway out of gas yet. Lap 65. A lot more steady getting into turn 1 that time. Speaking of Philly, no goals in 3 games. Ouch. Didn't know that. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Off to Seattle tomorrow night. Well, hopefully they put as good of a beating to them as they did a few weeks ago when they played each other. Like our chances. Although when you're on a road trip that long, it gets harder and harder with each game that passes by. Definitely not going to toot my own horn, I guess, when it comes to expecting a win. I did that when they played San Jose, and look at what happened. As long as Billy Uso isn't starting, I guess we'll have a good chance. Kind of what it boils down to. Jackson Robinson, thanks for tuning in also. Played your first round of golf today. Awesome. For the year, I'd assume. Yeah, I've had 0 chances to play golf yet. Way too cold here. Courses aren't even open. Now we just had like a snow and ice storm a couple days ago, so it's just a slushy mess out there today. That would have been Friday night into Saturday morning. 14.397 that last lap, or first 14.3, and that, again, is the quickest lap of the race for Casey Kane. Still shocked we haven't caught lap traffic for 71 laps at Bristol. Definitely got to lap traffic quicker in the Busch race. I will say that we have a fast car, probably the fastest car in the field, but it's not as fast in comparison to the rest of the field than the Busch race with Truex. I believe we won by at least a lap there, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, Red Bull we won by a lap. We did not win by more than a lap at Bristol, because we did have a couple cautions in that Busch race at Bristol. Although we did at Red Bull as well, but they were spaced out a little differently. They're both right in the middle of the race versus the Red Bull cautions were evenly spaced apart. So the pit strategy was a bit different. And we did get to halfway out of gas before lap 150 or before lap 75, so that means we are going to have to pit before lap 150. So slightly less of a fuel run for the Cup race here compared to what we had for the Busch race. Still pretty simple in the case that if we go 125 laps, we can make this thing on 3 stops. Actually, we don't even have to go that far. About 113 laps to easily make it 3 stops. Just about to catch the back of the field. I believe this is AJ Allmendinger. Definitely one of the Red Bull cars in front of us. Almost a 2-second lead for Casey Kane now. Kyle Busch towards the back of the pack still. I just noticed him on the leaderboard. And our defending race winner, as far as on the season goes, at Atlanta, Clint Boyer, is riding second from last right now. At least of those on track. I did notice Brian Vickers is out of the race. He's the only driver that blew an engine, so not a good day for Red Bull Racing. AJ being the first to get lapped on track, and Brian Vickers has been out for over 20 laps with an engine problem. Just backing up the corner entry as much as I can there. A little bump and run to Boyer in the center of the corner. Got Petty in the next end of the track through 3 and 4. Just passing cars more efficiently than everybody else. That's how we got through the field. And probably how we're going to extend our lead in lap traffic. Before we hit lap traffic, we really didn't have more than a 1.5 second lead. Already out to 2.7 seconds just within the last few laps alone. Oh, Kyle Busch has a problem now. I was wondering because he was at the back of the pack. So the actual winner of this race in real life, who had a photo finish with Jeff Burton, will not be the inaugural Car of Tomorrow winner here today. So therefore he will not rewrite history, recreate history, but we will rewrite it here tonight. Big hit into the wall. Second time I've gotten into the gas a little too soon and scraped the wall off the exit of the corner. 2 wall hits in the first 86 laps. Not bad. But it is a 500 lap race. So we have made contact with other cars at times. Nothing major. Just got to continue to try to take care of the car as much as we can. Because again, it is a long race. Yeah, lap times are definitely a little slower. I don't think I can get down into the 14.1s like I did for the Busch race. Although, if I have fresher tires and clean air, I guess there's a chance. We haven't made a pit stop yet. As tight as the car feels, I don't think I'm going to make an adjustment change, at least on the first stop, just because it is the quickest car in the field. And it's not like in these older games you have to worry about the track changing at all, so it'd be easier for ourselves to just kind of stay on top if we could just keep the track position. Different voice for PA. It sounded like Rick Allen. It did sound a lot like Rick Allen. I pointed that out on the broadcast last night with the live stream. Do you know the name of the person that did it? It sounded almost identical to Rick Allen. I was going to say that would have been very weird considering it was a Fox broadcast too. If it would have been Rick Allen. It was him. What, Rick Allen? You just said it wasn't Rick Allen. Was it Rick Allen or not? Adam Alexander is going to be doing play-by-play all season. For IndyCar, I believe. I believe he's going to be doing the IndyCar broadcasts. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Adam Alexander is doing the IndyCar commentary all season. Yeah, I didn't want to confirm that it was Rick Allen during the stream last night just because it was sound and I didn't have any actual evidence of it, but it, to my ears, sounded like Rick Allen at least. Adam Alexander's doing Xfinity all season? Well, it fits well for him. I mean, obviously doing all the Fox broadcasts on Xfinity over the years. Like quarter tank of gas left. At this point in the run, just before lap 100. Can easily still going to be a 3-stop race, I would assume. Oh, contact there with Jamie McMurray. Floated up the track a bit, and he had a big run to the outside. This little right rear to left front action got us up against the fence. Oh, he got into me again. That time I got loose and he drove into me. We're still good. We are okay. Will Buxton's doing the IndyCar play-by-play. Surprised Fox was able to get Hinchcliffe and Townsend Belt, too, considering they were just on the broadcast for the Rolex 24 this past weekend, though they were both in the race as well, which I also found it kind of odd that they were able to stay up for maybe more hours than most of the drivers would have been, because they were doing commentary and the race. Although for Townsend Bell's team, they were pretty much eliminated from the race pretty early. So I think that team dropped out with a mechanical issue at some point. I know Hinchcliffe's team had some problems throughout that race as well. It hit into the wall after the contact from McMurray. Definitely cost us time because we had almost a 4.5 second lead built up, and now it's down to about 3.3 seconds, 3.4. Jeff Gordon, the last car in the lead lap, he's open for a caution sometime soon. Our pit box is going to be on the front stretch just like it was in the Busch race last week here at this very racetrack. Car's just getting more and more free the older the tires get. Finally going to get by Jeff Gordon. It's more free on entry, and then once you get to the center of the corner, it tightens up pretty quickly. And then it's fine. Right front's in the yellow on the tire wear indicator too. It's definitely going to be an easy four tire stop kind of a race. Definitely not going to have to worry about using all 5 sets today. Fuel gauge running a little light. Try to push this out as far as we can, of course. Menard sneaking back to the outside for a brief moment after it looked like Kasey Kahne had him clear, headed into turn 3 that last lap. Still quite a few cars on the lead lap. Jeff Gordon's just deep in the field. Dave Blaney's the last car in the lead lap and 27th in front of us, so over 100 green flag laps in this race, so we really haven't seen that many cars fall off the lead lap yet. And we have not had a caution-free race so far in the Cup Series on this season through the first 4. Atlanta, we did only have 2 cautions in that 500-mile race, which is odd because the mile-and-a-half track at Vegas, the race before that, we had 38 and broke the NASCAR record. Nearly a 4-second lead for Kasey Kahne. Slides, but at least kept from making contact with Dave Blaney there. Makes the pass on him and settles in line behind David Ruderman. From one Dave to another. Scott Riggs is in second. Has been for a little bit now as well. So it's 1-2 for Evernham Motorsports at the front of the field. Power slide and a pass. Slide job, if you will, on David Ruderman. Excuse me. I almost said David Reagan. $16 COT races in EA. Almost half the season, and this is the first one. Race number 5. So many more to go. We'll definitely see less of them when we get to the custom schedule season because we'll have more road courses with the fantasy tracks. Trying to make it at least 125 laps. A lot of space around Kasey Kahne, pulling away from everybody behind him, but the 24 cars on the lead lap have bridged a gap between where he is and where the last car on the lead lap is. Smoke was for me, I believe. I'm settling still in turns 3 and 4 that last time by. Slight bit of wall contact. Fourth time, because last time we made contact with the wall was because of contact with Jamie McMurray. We're at lap 125 right now. We'll go one more. We'll go to lap 126, and then we'll pit. Our fuel light is flashing. We'll see if anybody else is going to come down to pit road anytime soon. It looks as if Kasey Kahne's going to be the first driver down there. It'll be 4 tires and a full tank of gas to top off here for Kane. Hate to be the first car to pit, but that is going to have to be the case here at Bristol today. No adjustments, 4 tires and a full tank of gas for the number 9. First stop of the day will be under green. Clean stop. Better than where they left off from the last race at Atlanta. But the bad part is Casey Kane's now 1 lap down. And he's nowhere near the free pass position in 41st. He's got a ways to get to now the current race leader, Scott Riggs. Riggs is the 5th different driver to lead a lap in the race today, alongside his teammate Casey Kane. David Gillen led a couple laps. Jimmy Johnson led the first quite a few laps in the race, as there's contact there between Kane and Schrader. That was just a product of Schrader trying to get to pit road. Casey Kane was already underneath him. Definitely need this to stay green. Jeff Burton's now the leader, and we're going to get our lap back. So Casey Kane was the first to pit, but he has at least gotten back on the lead lap. We'll see how everybody cycles. We had about a 4-second lead. So I'd imagine Kane's still going to be the leader. Get by Kurt Busch. Not quite able to get by J.J. Yaley. Going to have to run the outside lane for a corner there. Oh, whoa, whoa. Big moment there. Truex getting sideways into turn 3. Gets hit from behind by Yaley. This is going to get gnarly. Denny Hamlin had to check up. He was underneath Harvick. They were side by side on the apron coming out of the pits, so able to get through him. And this is definitely the heaviest the lap traffic has been for Casey Kane, our race leader right now. And through the green flag pit stops, it looks like everybody has made their stop over the span of about 7 to 8 laps. And Kane has extended his lead to about 7.5 seconds as well. And we went from about 24 cars on the lead lap to now 15. Tony Raines being the last car on the lead lap. Jeff Burton was able to get 5 bonus points for leading during green flag stops as well. And there was somebody else in there, so I believe we have 7 different drivers to lead at least 1 lap here tonight at Bristol. And now 14 cars on the lead lap with Tony Raines going a lap down as he tries to hold on to the free pass position in front of Kevin Harvick. Trying to set the fastest lap of the race again here for Casey Kane, and did by a lot. 14.157, only a couple hundredths off of the fastest lap we set here in the Busch Series. Sliding those tires. Oh, that's a 13. 13.876. We did run a quicker lap than that in the Busch Series. What a lap at Bristol Motor Speedway. They don't call this the world fastest half mile for nothing. And we just topped it. 13.860. Now that we have a little bit of spacing with the fresh tires. That is insane. That's like a sprint car on a mile, or a mile and a half mile. The dirt sprint car where the mid-quarter speeds are up more. Not a stock car. Another fastest lap. 13.827. We'll slide in the middle of the corner 1 and 2. This is going to be a quick lap. Another one in 3 and 4. Yeah, about a 10th off. That was pretty good. Back that one up real well. Baby slides there. Nothing too major. Oh my gosh, we got... Oh, it was the same exact lap time. Never mind. I thought we beat it again. Just about. Knew I backed the entry up quite a bit. I did again there through 3 and 4. This is going to be close. Yep. It's a 7. It's a 13.794. Little contact with Jeff Burton's going to slow this lap down. We got too much traffic in front of us now. Burton and Reagan are side by side. I took advantage of the fresh tires when I could. Caution's out. First time today. And that's going to be huge for Jeff Burton and David Reagan, who are at the tail end of the lead lap there. And it looks like debris on J.J. Yaley. We saw him hit the back of a car leaving pit road right around us several laps ago. And it's probably the cause of that damage to the front bumper, and a piece of it came off. So our first yellow of the race will be a debris caution, lap 147 here at Bristol Motor Speedway in the Food City 500. After we were running our quickest laps of the race, free pass going to go to Tony Raines in 15th. 16th on back going to be a lap down, at least for now. Lap 150 on the restart. Green flag is back in the air. That was about the same time that we had our first caution back in the Busch race as well. At Red Bull, at least. Slight wall contact. I'll turn 2 that last time, and Casey Kane's going for it, trying to make a pass on Martin Truex Jr. Slight little bump, and now he's trying to get the run. Didn't lose the lead, only had those 2 lap cars of Truex and Harvick get by initially on the restart. Casey Kane is now back in front of the entire field, lap cars included. And again, 15 cars are on the lead lap here at Bristol Motor Speedway. A couple lap cars between the top 2. I believe Jimmy... Nope, Jimmy's in 8th. Who is that? That might be a lap car, actually. That's the 3rd car in line. It looks like Michael Waltrip. We'll wait for the leaderboard to come back around and see who's in 2nd. Truex got by Harvick for the free pass position. Must have followed Casey Kane through. $13.728. The clean air. It's unbelievable what kind of lap times are running. I'm not really able to look at the speedometer with where my laptop's at, with everything being on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen as far as that goes in this game. But the speeds have to be up so much in the middle of the corner for me to do that. Because running 14s was difficult in NASCAR 07, especially a low 14. We got 13.728. It's 3/10 quicker than the Busch cars. I saw that headline. I got a alert on my ESPN app about that umpire getting fired by the MLB. That's a 6. A 13.678. Oh my goodness, a 13.5. What is this? 13.595. It makes it seem like I've got some sort of acceleration. I'm not like pulling away that much from everybody, so we're all running quick. Oh, I overstepped it there. Overstepped it there. At some point, I'm going to get to the point where the tires are going to be able to run anywhere close to that, but 13.5? I mean, obviously this is a video game, but still. I've never played a NASCAR game where I can run that quick at Bristol in my life. 13.5-second laps nearly. Car might fall apart before I run anything quicker. This is going to be a good lap, too. I was off by over a tenth. It's still quick. I mean, it's still 13.7. Can't do 20. I don't think I can either. I don't think that's possible. I didn't even think a 13.5 was possible. I almost got a piece of the wall. I'm really pushing hard for that lap time. While I have the tires underneath me. I'm definitely not saving my tires like I was in the last run. I'll tell you that much. Trying to break records. I mean, that has to be a record in a Cup car already. Track records don't count in the race like they do in qualifying. I mean, we're in a rhythm right now. It's about as much in a rhythm as I think I've ever been in any NASCAR game. World's fastest half mile is putting itself to the test today as the caution flag is out. Second yellow of the race. Michael Waltrip, I believe, got to the free pass position if he wasn't in second place already. And this is our second caution for debris as well. Unless I have no assist. It doesn't matter. There's no chance there's going to be a 12-second lap time. Assist or not. Debris off Scott Riggs' car is the reason for the caution. He hasn't led yet, but he's... Oh, well, actually, no. He did lead during green flag pit stops. Spent a lot of the race up in the top 5, though. Yeah, so Waltrip is in second. I'm not sure who would have gotten the free pass that time. Kurt Busch will cycle up. It was either Truex or Harvick that would have gotten the free pass. Nope, neither one of them. They're both a lap down. Kurt Busch passed them both. Somebody else, guess we're about to see on the leaderboard, whoever's in 16th. Denny Hamlin, okay. So Denny Hamlin got the free pass. Better restart for Casey Kane this time as he sits in line behind Kurt Busch, who got his lap back initially. He's hoping for a quick caution. Little bump from Kane to the back of Busch, trying to move him up out of the way. And Casey's going to lap him. Kurt trying to hold on to the free pass spot in 17th, at the very least. So another not caution-free race at Bristol. 2 of them so far. This being a short track, we do probably have quite a few cars out here with damage. Didn't realize Jamie McMurray was out of the race too. Started towards the tail end of the field. Really, same for Vickers and Busch also, who are already out. So a few DNFs. Fitz scraping the wall. Second during this green flag run for Casey Kane. Well, not the green flag run, the tire stint specifically. Yeah, Riggs is back in 9th place now. And I believe J.J. Yaley is off the lead lap. Those are the 2 drivers to bring out the debris cautions so far today. Michael Waltrip is the guy in second, trying to run down Casey Kane at the front of the field. Ryan Newman is in third just behind him. I noticed that on the restart. Newman has led so far. Waltrip has not, though. Waltrip was up in the top 10 since the very beginning of the race, so he's done a great job racing his way as far up in the running order as second. Going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race here today. The wall scrape up off of turn 2. So we're going to be able to go to around lap 250 before we have to pit again. And then from that point, try to get to lap 375 to make this that 3-stop race that we were hoping for. Chastain move, that won't work at Bristol. I've seen it tested in other video games by way of trying to make the lap time as quick as what he did it, and it's almost impossible. Even in a video game to run the lap time that he did. Like, you can be quicker than other drivers, but run a nearly, what was it, like an 18-1 or something ridiculous like that? It was sub 19-second lap. Maybe a modified naturally could go that fast. Even then, I don't even think that could happen. You definitely wouldn't wall ride in a modified. Open wheel, I think will catch and snag on the wall. Rip the steering wheel out of your hand. Halfway out of gas at this point in the run. We've had 2 cautions during the current tire stint that we are on. Fuel run, obviously, as well. So there might be a possibility of going a bit past lap 250. We pitted at lap 126, so we would kind of be looking at 252 if we didn't have a caution. And there were no yellows at all during the first entire fuel run to start this race either. The big thing here is not making that major mistake to give up the lead. I'll tell you what, man, I just love Bristol. I love this track so much. Even in the video games, it's fun to race. Especially when you're running speeds like what we're running in these Cup cars here tonight. We are just zipping around this place. Just over 200 laps in the books. We'll probably be the first one to pit road again because we were the last time by a few laps. It's a tough thing to have to deal with because you got that couple lap window of hoping that you don't catch a caution until you cycle back on the lead lap once everybody makes their stop. So we'll definitely end up having to deal with that again, potentially, although caution is out right now. I'm going to stay out again because I don't think we're in the window quite yet to making it on fuel. And this is our first crash of the race, our third caution. It looks like David Ruderman got hung up on the Red Bull car of AJ Allmendinger. Yep, it was AJ. Yep, got hung up, and then when Pablo Montoya hit the 00, it looked like the 01, I believe it was, ran into the back of Juan Pablo Montoya as well. No word from our crew chief that everybody pitted behind us, so it seems like everybody's on the same strategy, trying to make this thing on 3 stops, and just not quite in that window yet, so that's why everybody stayed out. And the green flag is going to be back in the air. Lap 210. Good restart for Truex. I believe Kurt Busch got the free pass that last time, and just getting down to the bottom was Casey Kane. A little contact there with Truex. Tried to force our way in there. I wanted to get down to the bottom in front of Yaley, so I drove it in really deep, and in doing so, we got into the left rear of Truex. Truex drives on as he tries to hold on to his lap and maybe get another quick caution. Held on for about 2 laps. Casey Kane's clear off of turn 2, and he's back in front of the 1 car. David Gillen appears to be up to second now as he got by the lap car of J.J. Yaley, got by Michael Waltrip entirely on the restart. And at some point he ended up getting by Ryan Newman, who was in third a while back as well. Still running sub 14-second laps with the clean air, but you can definitely tell the lap times have fallen off quite a bit. Having a hard time trying to wrap the bottom of the racetrack. Running the speeds that we're running on these older tires. Not quite able to stay hooked all the way to the bottom. Kind of starting to diamond the corner off a little bit, if you will. Kind of start lower, feed it towards the middle, and then cut down to that center off. So hard to pass, especially the leader in these this game specifically. I'm not going to say these games, including all the EA games in there, but it's definitely not easy. So again, it's good that we have the track position. So it is going to be that tough for us to lose the lead. Dale Jr.'s up to third. He's also been in the top 10 for most of the race. So Waltrip's back to fourth, and then Ryan Newman would round out the top 5 behind the 38 and the 8, and we've got another caution. What is he running into me under yellow for? That was unnecessary, David Gillen. Caution's out for Jeff Green. 4th yellow, another debris caution. So we went 147 laps without a caution today. We've had 4 yellows in the last 80 laps or so. Man, if we expect to get more cautions, we could make it. I'm going to stay out again. I think we get another caution, I'm going to end up pitting. We're still outside of our window for where we're at, as the green flag's back in the air, and that gets the free pass to yet another car with these quick cautions coming out on top of each other. We haven't had a chance to get back into lap traffic. J.J. Yaley got by us, but he's not going to stay in front of us for very long. That was the cleanest crossover from the top to the bottom for Casey Kane. Although he slid the tires down on the apron in 3 and 4, but still completes the pass on Yaley, who was the cause of one of the debris cautions for his front bumper coming off. Oh, overdrove it. Got a piece of the wall, just able to cover the bottom in time. Before Yaley got underneath there. Looks like Bobby Labonte in the 43 car is right behind the 18 of Yaley also. Relatively speaking, our car is at least pretty clean. Walter back into second yet again. Quarter of a tank of gas left this point in the run as well. Right rear catching up with the right front as far as the tire wear goes. I'm sure the left sides are going to soon follow. Caution again. Man. I'm going to pit this time. I wonder if they're going to pit when I pit. It's another debris yellow, and it's Jeff Green for the second consecutive time. This is our 5th caution of the race. I just feel like with all these yellows, if we continue to get them, we can make it on 2 stops from here. So that's my philosophy. So I'm going to come down to pit road, even though we're not quite at lap 250. By the time we restart, we're only 12 laps away. And we've been able to go lap further each run. So really, we're only, by the time we restart, about 8 laps short. So that's 3 cautions. And I think we can get 3 more cautions the rest of the race. So we're going to pit here. 4 tires, full tank of Sunoco race fuel. And I'm not sure if anybody else is going to be down here with us, but definitely allowing for more cars to get back on the lead lap with all these yellows. We did only have 14, but now we've had 5 cautions in less than 100 laps. And we are the only driver down on pit road. So we're going to be in the meat of this traffic, because there's almost an even number of lap cars versus lead lap cars of those that still remain in the race. And this next restart is going to be a little testy. All right, well. Do our best here. Green flag back in the air. We do have the freshest tires back at 18. It'll be a lot harder to get to the bottom with where we're at in traffic rather than being the leader. Going to have to let the 84 go. Get back down underneath him. And I would imagine we're going to see other cars pit here within the next 20 laps or so. Though we might get a caution before that. And then just end up staying out of the pits and cycling back to the lead. Would be the game plan there. First time Michael Waltrip has led today. Get this thing to go anywhere. We back the corner up enough. the fresh tires. We are up to 12th. The majority of the cars we have passed were a lap down. Johnson would be for position. And that is a pass for 11th. A little contact with the back of our teammate, Elliott Sadler. Not sure if Sadler's on the lead lap or not. Yes, he is. He is in 10th. 3 wide briefly. Casey's going to let his teammate go. Didn't want to make contact with him again. Gordon was a lap down. Again, Sadler is not. We'll pick Sadler behind Menard. Slid the tires a little bit, getting into turn 3 rather. And big contact, and that's going to cause a slide, and the caution's out again. Our 6th yellow of the race, and that was all on the 09 of Mike Wallace. He wrecked us at Daytona doing the same thing. We were already on the inside of him, and then he just moved down and turned us. So that's the first time we've been involved in an incident. We cannot pit for fuel or tires. But being the cause of the incident here, we'll be headed to the tail. 19 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Our goal is to get to 25 on our stream tonight. Only 6 away. Hamlin took a shot there. That was after the AI had control of my car. At least I saved it. It was a lazy spin. And we're still just shy of lap 250. Kind of split strategy here. Some cars are pitting. Some are staying out. We can't pit for fuel or tires being the cause of the incident. No, I have zero clue how many laps Lime Rock is. That was so far into the season, not really worried about it until it gets closer to the schedule. We got to get through Daytona, baby. Yeah, so we're going to be a 9th. Oh, man, slow restart. Still got relatively fresher tires than the rest of the field. A couple cars have fresher tires than us. Well, not many of them. Ryan Newman will restart as the leader. So once more, 6 cautions so far tonight at Bristol. Casey came with the drive under Dave Blaney, gets by him for 8th. Although I don't believe Blaney was on the lead lap, so we might have already been in 8th before that. And up against the wall. A decent sized hit off turn 2. Only car that got by us from that was Menard, who was a lap down, so still in 8th. Welcome to downtown Chicago, yeah. Traffic jam. Traffic jam city. Should say traffic jam food city. The dog that likes Kyle Busch, thanks for tuning in. Up to 20 likes now on the stream. Oh, bump. On the 43 of Bobby Labonte. And made the pass for 6th. Slide, just getting by the 40 of David Stremme. Dale Jr. in contact there with the 18. Stalled them both up. Hamlin checked up in time. We did not. Got into the back of Dale Jr. Hamlin's a position as he gets picked behind his teammate Yaley. Casey's back in the top 5 to 5th. Bump behind Dale Jr. up off of turn 4 as well there. Caught underneath him. Pass made for 4th. I believe the 7 car is a lap down. That is Robbie Gordon. Yep, so now the next 3 cars in front of us are all the leaders. And we are 1 second off the lead. Quite a few Dodges at the front of the field right now. You got the 2 Penske's 1st and 3rd, Newman 1st, Kurt Busch 3rd, and then 2 Chevys making up the rest of the top 5. Second place, Jeff Burton for RCR, and DEI's Dale Jr. in 5th. No Fords in the top 5 right now. Highest running Ford. Looking on the leaderboard to see who it might be. Ricky Rudd in 9th is the only Ford in the top 10. Next closest Ford behind Rudd would be Dale Jarrett in 13th. His teammate, David Gillen in 15th. Contact. There's the bump from Casey Kane to the back of Kurt Busch, letting him know he's there. Looking for the pass now. Got him. Quickly under Jeff Burton as well. I love that Burton scheme, by the way. The lightning. Burton's got quite a bit of damage on the front of his car, too. Tim Brown, thanks for tuning in. Tim Brown is racing tonight. Fortunately. Looking to get to the lead here is Casey Kane. All over the back of Ryan Newman. Trying the wider line, just couldn't hold on to it. Tried something different, that didn't work. Lost some ground, didn't hurt the car too badly. Newman led some laps real early in the race before we took the lead for the first time, so he's got a pretty decent car. And we've got cars on pit road. Remember, there were quite a few that ended up staying out. We had a split strategy for those who pitted and those who did not during the last stop. And because we didn't get another quick caution, they're having to pit under green. Ryan Newman's starting to extend his gap over Casey Kane now. And there are quite a few cars on pit road, really. It's Tim Brown himself. It is a different Tim Brown, but... Tim Brown gained another new fan last night. And that new fan goes by the name of Tim Brown. Yeah, I'm losing Newman. It didn't really hurt the car too badly, I didn't think. Just kind of overdriving to get to him, I believe, is what's going on right now. Got a slow car bottom of the track, getting up to speed. Looks like they'll be able to do it before the leaders are able to get to him. Trying to back up the corners a little more, kind of take the slower route around. use the go slow to go fast method, but even then, still not really getting to Newman. Now, while we did take the lead earlier, it was not taking it away from Newman. We actually took it away from David Gilliland. So we haven't passed Newman for the lead when he's been out in front today. Kurt Busch still in third. He's kind of closing on the top two slightly as well. He had to get by Jeff Burton within the last few laps and did, and now the caution's out. I didn't even see the debris until I was right next to it. Thankfully, we missed it. Didn't cut a tire. Otherwise, that would have sent us to the tail of the lead lap again. It was off that lap car right in front of us. It was Mark Martin in the 01. So we have the yellow flag out yet again here tonight. Our 7th caution at Bristol in the Food City 500. And I believe we have just over 200 laps still to go. We are past halfway. And we were going to need 3 more cautions to make it on fuel with 1 more stop. So there's 1. And green flag back in the air again. This will get us a little closer to Newman for the restart. We'll see how this is going to pan out with all the lap cars around us. Robbie Gordon going to get in front of Ryan Newman. And Kane quickly to the bottom as he gave up the time to Stremme. Now they're side by side in front of Newman. This is definitely a chance to capitalize if you're Casey Kane. Low line is the way to go. Robbie Gordon is the pick car in place, and Kane is back in the lead as he gets by Newman on the restart. Slide had to jam the brakes to keep it off of Stremme there, and now J.J. Yaley's going to get by Newman as he's getting freight trained on the outside by the lap cars following the 9. Few lap cars separating the top couple on the leaderboard, and Casey Kane again is out in front and leads for the 3rd different time here tonight at Bristol, lap 287. Got to try to make it all the way to lap 375, if possible, before the next stop. It's quite a ways out. Newman quickly got back by J.J. Yaley and Robbie Gordon. A lot of smoke on the back straightaway, but no caution. Not sure where that came from, but you could see the big gap on the track map between a bunch of cars, so it definitely took place somewhere in there, I'd imagine. Stalled out that second line of cars. Might have some drivers riding around with damage. Only had 2 crashes or spins today. The other 5 cautions were for debris. And there was no more than 4 cars involved in the one wreck, and then the lazy spin from us after Mike Wallace chopped us off in the middle of the corner about 50 or so laps ago. Top half of the league for the Wings. All that matters, though, is to get that top 8 in the Eastern Conference. Well, maybe not exactly the top 8 with how the playoff format works, but you know what I mean. Very close to the top 8. Usually it is the top 8. Very rare occasion you'll have the 3rd team in the division have a worse record than like 5 or 6 teams coming out of the other division. It technically wouldn't be the 8th best, but it would jump up to the 6th seed because of the division ranking. Nearing lap 300 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Stremme finally getting moved out of the way. I believe Ryan Newman put the bumper to him that time, getting into turn 3. Newman's been stuck in traffic for a while. He's still just in front of his teammate Kurt Busch. NASCAR with Jason, thanks for tuning in. I'm doing great tonight. Hopefully you are too. Thanks for tuning in. Just over 300 laps complete. Just less than 200 to go in our Food City 500 at Bristol. About an hour and a half or so into the stream tonight. Start to overdrive the car. Get pretty free these last couple of corners. I think I was just starting the corner entry off a little too high, a little too deep. Slightly overcorrecting it off the corner. Making it slightly worse. Trying to manage this just over a half a second gap over Ryan Newman. Kind of faintly see the back of the field. We'll go back to the far chase cam for now. Halfway out of gas this point in the run. We've got to make it to lap 375, ideally to make this thing on one more stop. Maybe 74. That's going to be pushing it. It's only because we went 126 laps on that first fuel run without a caution in the middle of it. 7 yellows so far at Bristol here tonight, the Food City 500. And they both come from lap one, or all have come from lap 147 to where we're at right now. Really, they were all at about a stretch of 140, 150 laps or so. Kind of getting a caution every 20 to 30 laps, if not less than that on average. Definitely be shocking if Tampa didn't make the playoffs. Getting old, though, it kind of reminds me a little bit of how Pittsburgh's been the last couple of years. Got to get those younger, fresh legs in there. Or even really Detroit towards the end of their run. Making the playoffs. Those later years of trying to keep that streak alive. Well, Casey Kane's led for a lot, even though the lead isn't very big right now. Really, his largest lead of the race was about 8 seconds after those green flag stops before the first caution. Before the stop started, his biggest lead was about 4 seconds. Quite a few extra cars a lap down compared to what we had initially in the restart because of the splitting pit strategy, as not everybody pitted during the last yellow. And in fact, Casey Kane didn't pit during the last yellow either for fuel or tires. It stayed out, but is on a slightly different strategy because he didn't pit under green yet. We will be a lap down for a little bit if we get that far, so we're definitely going to need the cautions to play the right way for us to at least keep ourselves in contention to give us a chance. Definitely don't want Ryan Newman getting back by us again because he has been very, very difficult to try to pass. Definitely the most difficult car for me to pass in this race when he was leading. And it took a restart and a bunch up to give ourselves a better chance of trying to do it, with obviously the lap cars to the inside of the lead lap cars, which also helped with that said restart. That was a bad time for the right front tire to start to go away a little bit. By the time the car started to push up the track, it was a little too late in the middle of the corner there. Straight the wall. Didn't lose too much time to Newman. Dodges 1, 2, 3 at the front of the field still. What's up, Thomas? Thanks for tuning in. Casey needs to pit. Nah, we got a ways yet. Not even down to a quarter tank of gas. Honestly, the tire wear today has not been nearly as bad as it has been at other tracks throughout all 3 series on the season. Definitely hadn't had it as bad as California yet, and even Vegas and couple of the series was pretty bad as well, especially in the Busch series for tire wear. Probably would have been in the Cup side had we had less yellows than we did. Even this race has really mellowed out all of a sudden. Now we're starting to get a longer green flag run in. Missed my corner there. 160 laps to go. Now we're down to a quarter tank of gas left. We're definitely not going to make it to lap 375. We're going to be a couple short. We would have needed 3 cautions from when we last pitted to make it the rest of the race on fuel. We've only had 1. So again, this race has really started to mellow out all of a sudden, which is not what we needed. Although there is still, again, 160 laps to try to get those 2 yellows. It was a risk of, to pit or not to pit during that caution that we did. And got a car up against the wall right in the middle of the corner there. Somewhere around the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Didn't get a caution for that. Seven-tenth of a second lead on Ryan Newman. We got more smoke up against the wall. I don't know if that was from the same deal or not. Again, Casey Kane's won all the odd-numbered races. Race number 1, race number 3, and now here in race number 5, trying to keep that streak alive. He's already clinched the most laps led in this race as well. Oh, big hit against the wall. I caught it with the right rear on the safer barrier part of the corner, and then I got to the concrete wall, and that hurt the car a little bit. Just kind of snagged and grabbed. It is wanting to feed out to the wall quite a bit, and I think that's why I've hit the wall as many times as I have. It hasn't been a lot, about 7 or 8 times over the course of nearly 350 laps. There's another little scrape. Same spot, right off turn 2. It didn't snag and grab that time, though, thankfully. $150 to go. So we have 24 more laps of fuel in it. I get to 374. We'll be pushing it to the end, but I'd feel all right about it. Anything before that, we're definitely going to need a caution or 2. I'm leaning towards 2 more yellows is what we're going to end up needing. And I'd like to think we're still going to get it because our longest green flag run of the day is 147 laps, so we still got about that many left right now. We have been green for at least 70. I think we last restarted right around lap 280. Definitely the second longest green flag run of the race since the first 147 laps to start this race went caution-free. Again, the caution counter's at 7 right now on this race. About 1/8 of a tank of fuel left for Casey Kane. We still got 20 laps to get to our number. Hate it because we've got one of the best cars here. It's the determining factor of when to pit or not to pit. During that second to last caution specifically. To get the track position back, that's why we stayed out during the 7th yellow. Had we pitted during that caution, we'd be better on fuel, but we'd probably be behind Ryan Newman again. But obviously second place, or third, with Kurt Busch right there behind him as well, would be better than if we had driven, obviously, through the field again. Be better than wherever we'd finish if we don't make it on one more pit stop. Plenty of sets of tires left. We still got 3 more sets. Definitely going to throw 1 more on this thing. Maybe 2, depending on how the cautions fall later in the race, if we do have to make another stop just to be safe. I think I'll do it, just with this race starting to get more green flag laps into it again, although we could get to that point where cautions start to breed cautions, because we have seen that already. Very well could happen again. It's another big hit into the wall off turn 2. Tires getting older. And again, Newman and Kurt Busch closing that gap from behind. Every time we hit that wall, they just keep slowly chipping in. Definitely doesn't take much. Still got quite a few cars on the lead lap. 20 of them. Only a couple that were on the lead lap that pitted during the last caution. Most of them that stayed out would have been lap cars that probably tried to take the wave around. Middle to upper lane ran that time there by Casey Kane. Kurt in that same line as he goes a bit wide as he got closer behind Newman from the corner before that. David Reagan in the 6 is the next car in front of us. Slight power slide off of turn 2. All 4 tires slowly wearing out. I feel like I've used and abused these tires way more than I did earlier. By the way, that fuel load's getting very light. Really trying to make it as far as we can. I'm going to pit at lap 370. We go and try to stretch this thing one more lap, but I'm definitely not going to make it to 374. So, as I expected, we're still going to need 2 more cautions to try to make this race on one more pit stop the rest of the way. And Casey will be the first of the lead lap cars of the 20 of them to go to pit road this time. Probably could have carried a little more speed into the pits there. Full tank of gas, 4 tires. No adjustments yet again. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully this all works itself out. Clean stop. A little slow, 22.5 seconds, jeez. I didn't make a mistake on pit road. And we are almost 2 laps down. It's going to be barely 1 lap down by the time we get to speed in turns 3 and 4. There we go. So we're 1 lap down right now behind Ryan Newman. Definitely could have gotten into the pits a little quicker than I did. I babied that onto pit road. Speed limit was 70, and by the time I gassed it back up again, it was like 50. I was down as low as 40 before I realized how slow I was going. Fresh tires for Casey Kane, try to make up a little bit of time. Definitely got to hope that it stays green until everybody else on the lead lap pits. We got 19 cars. So we're not in the free pass position. Whoever in 20th would be the free pass car. To wait and see who it is. Jeff Green. Not even sure where he's at in the field either, but that's the guy we would have to catch for the free pass. We've now made it to lap 375. I'm not the lucky dog quite yet. Obviously, we'd still lose track position. Even if I was a lucky dog, we'd be at the tail end of the longest line on a restart. Some of the leaders are on their way down. Ryan Newman is one of them. He gives up the lead temporarily to Bobby Labonte now in the 43 car. Having a hard time trying to pass David Reagan. Later we get in this race, just hard to pass cars. Got to run on David that time. Clear off turn 2. More clean air in front of the 9. Back inside the top 10 and back on the lead lap. So we lasted those few laps long enough. They're definitely in the window. They've gone past lap 375. That was the advantage of them pitting during the last yellow versus the second to last where we did to get the track position back. Jeff Green still out on the track and now leads for the first time today as he was a lap down. He's got a 2.6 second lead. We'll have to wait and see exactly when he's going to pit. And all that traffic out in front of Casey Kane. 2.5 seconds between ourselves and the 66. I see a couple of 3-wide cars, couple 3-wide battles right in the middle. Turns 1 and 2. They did make it off the corner with little to no contact, surprisingly. Now I wonder what the gap is between us and Bobby Labonte, who cycles out in third. Newman, who was in second and then leading there for a bit under Green after Casey Kane pitted. Newman's now in sixth. Caution for debris. Wow, that bails Jeff Green out. He was leading. He's going to get his lap back. And there's one of our 2 yellows that we would have needed to try to make this race on one more stop. And I believe it was the hood off of the 20 of Tony Stewart. All right, so caution number 8, our second longest green flag run of the race, as it stretched about 100 laps, a little over 100. We can pit now and ensure that we're going to make it, but I'm going to stay out. And Jeff Green will pit under the caution, so he's good on fuel and he gets his lap back. And we're just going to go through the restart here. Green flag back in the air. I'm going to assume everybody that needed to pit still pitted, as now everybody should be good on fuel to the end of the race. And we are expecting no more pit stops. A little bump to the back of David Gilliland as soon as he pulled up in front of us. Casey Kane wasting no time trying to get the clean air yet again off turn 4. 112 laps to go at Bristol. Kane probably needs one more stop to make it on fuel the rest of the way. If we go past the scheduled distance just to be safe, we're probably going to need 2 more cautions to make a green-white checker finish for fuel purposes. But definitely don't want to give up the track position with however many cars we have on the lead lap, because it has been way harder to pass cars since we've gotten into the second half of this race. It wasn't easy before either. Eesh. Wall scrapage, middle of the back straightaway. We're okay. Mark DeMars, thanks for tuning in. We've seen a couple of upsets this year. Casey Mears getting his first career win. Clint Boyer getting his first career win. If only a win granted you a spot in the playoffs. We're in this 12-man chase format. Not quite to the wild card version of the chase yet. Got to give it a couple more years. A couple more seasons. We're almost 400 laps complete out of 500 here at Bristol. Almost a 1 second lead for Casey Kane. Well, that was a great corner through 1 and 2 there. Trying to put together our fastest lap. Oh, we did! 13.563. We hadn't ran our fastest lap since just after the first pit stop with the clean air. Still got a little less than 20 laps on our tires. Oh, and we topped it again. 13.546. Can we get down below 13.5? Is that possible? Give it to me. Oh, that was slow. That was slower. Well, that was smooth. Do that again in 3 and 4, might have a chance at it. Had some smoke middle of the front straightaway there. Not sure where that came from. I was 17 one-thousandths of a second off the fastest lap of the race. Smoke's still settling. There we go. Fast lap again. Cut it down to 13.53. I got a little loose off turn 2. Got too much of the apron with the left side tires. Sys off. Even still, 13, there's no way I could get faster than that. No matter what kind of setup I have. That wall scrape killed me on the back straightaway. Oh, no. How did it not? That would have been the lap if I had not scraped the wall off of turn 2. Give it to me. I want to see it. Oh, I ran the same identical lap time. Dang it. I'm trying so hard, guys. I want it. I want that lap time. Oh, that ain't going to do it. That's how you keep your focus on for over 400 laps. Trying to set the fastest lap time that anybody's ever set in a stock car at Bristol. Tell the car's handling great for me to push this hard and try to almost redlining at the end of the straightaways. That was better in 3 and 4. If I could have done that on both ends of the track, though. It's starting to get just a little too tight for me to try to do this. What kind of a lap is that going to be? Nope. Starting to fall off now. That might have been my last couple chances. Had I not scraped the wall in that one lap, I think that would have been it. 2/10 off now. It's going to be hard to get that kind of time back again. That ain't going to be it either. Tires just aren't holding up. I like to get those tenths back as well, because the lead went from 1.4 seconds to about 1.1 to 1.2. Got 1/10 back. Happened to you on this game before, too? I'm willing to bite the bullet. It's the pace we're having to run just to maintain this just over a second lead, too. Oh! Pancake the safer barrier off of turn 2. Lost a couple tenths to the second place car again behind us. Still 81 laps to go. Have to have our third 100-lap green flag run of the day if we stay green to the end. If we don't catch another caution, fuel's going to be very tight. We don't have a big enough lead to really try to save either, only having 1 second on the rest of the field. Yeah, I can't push that hard through the corners anymore. I'm starting to get tighter and tighter. Got over 40 laps on the tires now. I tried to get the sub 13.5 second lap time. It just wasn't meant to be. Man, I felt like I backed that corner up. Still got against the wall again. All right. Let's go back to... I'm going to back these corners up just a little bit more. Can let it float up the track a little bit, but can't just barrel it off in there like I was. Problem is, we're backing up the corner so much, and we're starting to give up some lap time here as well to the second place car, who is now within about 6 to 7 tenths of a second off the lead. Is Casey Kane not the quickest car in the field anymore? The pace itself is quickened. And how about Martin Truex Jr. in second? He was a lap down middle of the race. Got the free pass during the slew of the 8 cautions we've seen today. Somewhere in the middle of it, about like 4 or 5 cautions deep, he got his free pass. And now he's up to second. And because of that, he's probably got the speed to pass Casey Kane because he's reeling him in. To come from as far back as he has, it would make sense. Caution is out, though, and that is a big yellow for Casey Kane on the fuel side of things, although it will bunch the pack up yet again. Saw the debris laying on the apron, and it has come from Paul Menard. This is our 9th caution of the night here at Bristol. About 2 hours into the race. Gonna stay out of the pits. Green flag back in the air. Truex going to be able to get a good restart in comparison to Casey Kane. He might. Reigns in the 96. Got by Casey. Just enough room to get back down to the bottom. Kyle Petty luckily was able to get by Truex as well. Tony Stewart gets his lap back temporarily and also passes Tony Reigns. Contact between Kane and Reigns, less than 70 to go. Truex is going to make contact with Tony Reigns as well, so I'm glad I wasn't the only one there. Felt like I was getting a bit crowded. Oh, big overdrive. Truex is there. I think he's quicker than me, honestly. He has come with a rapid pace all the way through the field. Bobble by Reigns, slight bobble by Casey Kane. I'm doing all I can to try to stay in front of him right now. I don't know that I'm going to be able to. I was giving up time. Even Tony Stewart's starting to pull away from us now, as he's unlapped himself the traditional way for the moment. Casey's got to be almost perfect trying to pin this car down to the bottom of the track to keep Truex from getting underneath him. And there's that little bit of room. And there goes Truex. First lead of the night for Martin Truex Jr. What a drive. And Newman, who also had a very quick car earlier, is now right behind Casey Kane as well. Still might need one more caution for fuel. Just hit halfway out of gas with 61 laps to go. They've made some good adjustments to that one car, I'll tell you that much. Truex would only have one career Cup win at this point. Now, he's caught Tony Stewart. Might be a chance to try to get back to him here if he takes a minute to try to get by this 20 car. Tony goes up the track. I don't know if Truex got in the back of him or not there. We're having an extremely hard time trying to run this one car down. We're definitely going to have to make quick work of Tony Stewart. Starting to put a gap between ourselves and Ryan Newman again, although we got a little sideways getting into 3 there. That didn't help either. Struggling. Not struggling too bad. I'm just not as quick as Truex. He dominated this race too. Tony's still putting a fight up with that one car. If he gets underneath him, gotta be as close to Stewart as we can get here. Yeah, Dale Jr. was up in the top 5 for a good portion of this race. He's still top 10, 9th. Waltrip's been top 10 the whole race, too. Both the Penske's of Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman. We've seen both of them towards the front of the field in a lot of races this season. Dodge might just have the upper hand on the manufacturer side of things for this season, the way it's going about so far. 2 first-time winners this season in their NASCAR Cup careers, and Truex is trying to be a guy winning his 2nd race of his career. Casey Kane's car is, if it's not too tight, it's too loose if we back the corner up enough. Lost a lot of ground there. I was out of shape from the corner before when I scraped the wall getting out of turn 2. 50 laps to go, and these laps are going to wind down quickly here at Bristol as well. Casey might need one more caution to help make it on gas. I would like to think we'll be fine, but one more just to be safe. Almost a half a second back, a little over a half a second actually. Oh, that was the 07. I was thinking it was 06. You're right, it was a car tomorrow race. Yeah, I was thinking it was... So we would have 3 first career wins in the first 5 races of the season. Our 2 drivers would eventually go on to win that season later, but still. Look at how much we pulled away from Newman and Kurt Busch all of a sudden now, but we just cannot, for the life of us, catch Martin Truex Jr. in this one car. Unless his tires start to fall off. But ours are starting to. You saw the right rear getting down into the yellow. We got a bit loose off of turn 2. Stewart's not going anywhere. Still hoping he could somehow find a way underneath that one car. He's looking. Starting to figure something out now. Go, Tony. Might not even have to wait for Stewart. Casey Kane's catching a second wind here. Clear Stewart up off turn 2. Again, not for position. Retains second place. Now no more lappers between the top 2. And Casey, shot out of a cannon, now going to go for the lead on Truex. Inside, and he's got it. Kane leads off turn 2, and the caution's out immediately after passing him. Just missed the debris on the bottom of the track there in turns 3 and 4 as well. All right, well, believe that is our 9th caution of the race here at Bristol. 2 things. One, that helps us for fuel. I think we're definitely going to be good on fuel to the end now. It's still going to be tight, but I think we're good. 2, we just got to the lead before that caution came out. That was very close. I mean, one more corner before that, we would still be in second. Now we got to survive the restart with the lappers to the inside again. Debris off of the 84 of A.J. Allmendinger, and now another restart here at Bristol. Green flag back in the air as we have 36 laps to go. Lappers on the bottom. Oh, not good for Casey Kane. Got a piece of the wall up off turn 2. Luckily, the lappers were still under Truex, and he couldn't get down to the bottom quick enough. Only Tony Raines and Kyle Petty, who were a lap down, got by. This thing is just, it's getting tight. Stinks that we have traffic in front of us, too, with those lap cars now. And not clean air. Wow, that's a power slide. Tires are definitely getting out from underneath us. Stretching the fuel run all the way. You're going to be stretching the stent on these tires as well. I believe that's Ryan Newman, who is still in third. He has been top 5 almost the whole race. He's led a couple different times. Big moment there for Casey Kane. Trying to not make contact with this 45 car of Kyle Petty as he makes the pass on him. Puts him a lap down again. Going to try to do the same on Tony Raines. 31 laps to go. Contact with the back of Raines. I can't go up here. Can't hold this outside line. I need to get down to the bottom. There we go. Barely got there. We'll bump on Ryan Newman, and now the run. And clear. Lappers are still right in front of Truex. Might have put the bumper to Kyle Petty in the 45 there. 26 laps to go. A bump there from Casey Kane to the back of the 1. Can he get the run now and get to the lead? Door to door, has the position in it and clear into turn 1. 25 laps to go. Truex did a good job getting back to the bottom before Newman had a chance to get by him as well. And you can see how much this thing's wiggling off the corner. Trying to get back by Tony Raines here. Give ourselves a little buffer between Truex and the 9. Raines is blocking, though. Not going to make this easy for Casey Kane. Tony's not moving. Put the bumper to him there and didn't move him up out of the way. There we go. Got to run on him now. Oh, boy, a lot of contact. Move out of the way, Tony. Thank you. Jeez, was that so hard? 18 to go. Almost threw the race away there. Car's definitely going to wiggle off the exit of the corners pretty much the rest of this race. Just have to do our best to not have it wiggle too much. It's right when we're standing on the gas. $15 to go. Tony Raines is not going anywhere. Slight wall scrape there for Casey Kane that time. That's not good either. That's 2 corners in a row. We've hit the wall up off turn 4. Truex moved Tony Raines. First chance he got. Ran right into that left rear. $12 to go. That was a good corner. That was not. $10 to go. Getting up too high on corner entry, and that's one that's starting to slide out from underneath me on entry, too. That's why I'm better at just driving it in deep and kind of sailing it off. At least it keeps the car planted, but then I'm giving up too much of the bottom. Oh, man. Caution, too. I almost got into the wall off turn 2 again. I actually blipped the throttle. So I was getting off the corner. Caution is out behind us. Debris again, the 10th yellow of the race, and we're going to have a restart with probably around 5 laps to go, and this is going to be David Stremme bringing out the caution this time. I believe this is the first time he's brought out a yellow here tonight. Man, oh man. Thanks for hitting the like button. Yeah, we're not pitting here. Crew chief recommends I pit. Yeah, right. We're plenty good now on fuel. Should be. More caution laps. No lap cars on the inside of the lead lap cars. Is that going to benefit Truex or is it going to benefit Kane more? I'd imagine Casey Kane, as he's able to get to the bottom quickly into turns 1 and 2. 5 laps to go as the green flag is back in the air. That's kind of how the finish of the actual 2007 race was. They had a late caution, and then Jeff Burton and Kyle Busch had the photo finish. Only instead of Jeff Burton and Kyle Busch here tonight, it's going to be Casey Kane and Martin Truex Jr., it appears. Gave up a lot of bottom there in 3 and 4. 3 to go, rather. That was a great corner. Do that again. Sailed up the track a little bit, but enough mid-corner speed up. Keeps Truex behind us. If I could just do that a couple more times. Oh, no! Up into the wall. Oh, I tried to hit him. It ain't over. White flag. Leaning. We got him. We got him now. Got him back. That was a close one. I almost threw that away. Casey Kane wins at Bristol. Ooh-wee. I almost threw that thing away. I was determined there. I was moving him. I was not going to lose the race like that. We led way too many laps in this thing to not win. It's not too beat up. You know, for a full 500 lap Bristol race, I'll give it credit. I don't know how Martinsville's going to go, but we'll figure that out next time. Oh, man. If I didn't get to his bumper getting into turn one, I don't think I was going to catch him again. It was just enough to kind of slow him up in the middle of the corner that I was able to cut underneath by the exit. We had the advantage down on the bottom, nose to nose, entering 3, and it's so hard to hold that outside lane. I kind of figured I was going to be able to, even if I didn't clear him, beat him back to the line. And that's exactly what happened. Definitely the closest finish we've had this season. My goodness. 3 wins in the first 5 races now, 11 cautions, 38 lead changes. That was 1 yellow off. I was thinking we had 10. We led 366 laps. That's what I mean. I mean, we had a good car. It was definitely slipping away from us. Truex came out of nowhere. He led 29 laps in the final 100 laps of this race, but he was a lap down, came from a lap down, and almost won. I mean, he had a great comeback and just really out of nowhere had the quickest car in the field there, those final, 70 laps or so, but held him off. Ricky Rudd came pretty much back to finish 3rd. He led 1 lap during green flag pit stops. Ryan Newman, 54 laps, finished 4th. That would have been Kurt Busch then in 5th because Kyle Busch DNF. Sterling Marlin, yeah, great run, finishing 6th. I saw Jack Markham, in the chat saying the horrible 14 getting a good run. Yeah, he did lead a couple laps during green flag pit stops today as well. Great run for Sterling. Jimmy Johnson finishes 7th, Denny Hamlin 8th, Jeff Burton fell to 9th after he was in contention there for a little bit middle of the race. Led a lap during green flag pit stops as well, and Elliott Sadler led a lap during the first set of green flag stops when we were 1-2 at the beginning of the race, and he finishes 10th. Our other teammate Scott Riggs did not finish on the lead lap, finished a lap down in 25th. He also led 2 laps in this one. A lot of different leaders like we tend to see in this game. And it also helped with the fact that we had alternating pit strategy there in the middle with some drivers pitting, some not during a caution. Obviously, a couple sets of green flag stops as well. And we still finished with an extra set of tires in the back pocket. 2 of them, actually. 18 cars finished on the lead lap. See who all DNF'd. Quite a few of them were early in the race. Actually, all 3 were early, and that was it. We didn't have another DNF. The final just over 370 laps. Brian Vickers, Kyle Busch, and Jamie McMurray were the 3 drivers who failed to finish this one. 2 hours, 29 minutes, 25 seconds total time of the race. Relatively quick for 11 cautions. Average race speed of 107.01 miles per hour. 0.3 of a second margin to victory tonight for Casey Kane over Martin Truex Jr. Truex denied his first career win. Casey Kane gets his 3rd of the season through the first 5 races. So that is going to wrap up this stream today. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. If you haven't yet already, we will be live again tomorrow. I will be running Martinsville on a 50% race for the Cup Series. Not sure if that's going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. We will be streaming, obviously, now all the way through the Daytona 500, at least once every day, obviously. And the live commentary streams will pick up again on the Wednesday night qualifying for the Daytona 500 on February 11th. So we still got 8 more NASCAR 08 streams before then, again, every day. So Martinsville, sometime between now and Thursday, because it's going to be a 50% race, so I can do that on a work night. I do have to work the next few days. And as far as the Busch and the truck schedule, we'll fit in whatever races there that we can in the meantime as well, until I off of work again through next weekend. Appreciate it as always. Hit the like button if you haven't yet. Thank you for allowing us to get our goal tonight on likes of 25. We are at 28 as we're about to sign off. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet as well. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.